Hi everyone, Gaz here again. Today I'm playing MotoGP 18. Guess we just dive right in really. Before we go into, I'll show you a little bit of the career. I'm still fairly early on. We'll have a look at the quick modes, just go into a Grand Prix, just set one up. Right, so let's we'll start at Moto 3. We'll go a little bit sort of lower down, so I'll go into MotoGP and show you the difference in like the speed. Oh, what a grin that guy's got. Right, I don't really know any of these people. Sorry, so we're just gonna go with this guy. He's only 20. And he's already raced 50 times. Cool. Right, so we'll go with him. Let's go with... Well, in fact, these are the tracks that are on it. So, you know, I'm being very professional here. Catalonia's a good one. I'll go with that one in a moment. I know that track. Not that that's going to make any difference. Yeah, but you've got like it's basically the official MotoGP circuits. Red Bull Ring, I know that one as well. Silverstone, yep. Misano, I know the name. I don't know the track very well though. Aragon, same with that as well. Don't really know that one. I know Twin Ring Motegi. I've seen that in a few games. Phillip Island, Australia, I've never seen that one. Sepang, I know that. There we go. So, unfortunately you can't just skip right back to the beginning. So, where did I say? Oh, I didn't show you those ones, did I? You've got a couple of others there. It was already set to one further in. España. Le Mans. No, that one. I said Catalonia, didn't I? Let's try there. Race options. 10 laps. Probably a bit much in it for you guys to watch. We'll go with qualifying as well, just so you get to see a little bit of me learning the track and the bike. Weather, random, bike damage, realistic, tyre wear on, I like that. Manual start management, so you can do that. You hold the clutch, much like the F1 game. If you've played that, you hold the clutch, release it at the right time to get a good start. Make sure you don't release it early, because you'll go early and you get penalised for that. Riding aids, you can go full pro, normal, assisted. I go for normal. Joint brakes on. It's just much easier for me. I'm not very good at the bike games yet. Off-track help, you can have that on or off. Basically that means that if you go off the track, you've got a chance really of keeping control of the bike a lot more easily than if you go off without it. Auto tuck-in, don't really know that much about that, to be perfectly honest. That's where if you want the racing line on the screen. I tend to leave that off so I can learn the track myself. Semi-automatic or manual gears, I go for semi-automatic. And you can have rewinds on or off. I tend to keep them on because, well, if you've seen the MXGP Pro video, you'll see that I fell off a lot on that, so you get used to that, unfortunately. Let's skip that. All it does is that it's just showing you different places in Catalonia, or in and around the Catalonia circuit, which is the same as how it actually works on like the TV coverage of the sport, because I have watched a few times. I've steadily started to get more into like the motorbike racing. I prefer the four-wheel stuff, like the F1, touring cars, that kind of thing. Don't do anything like NASCAR though. I just doesn't do anything for me. The loading is relatively quick, which is nice. As you see at the top there, it's telling you the various parts of the race weekend that you can fully have.
Welcome to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Everything is ready here for the start of the qualifying session. This session will decide who takes pole position on the starting grid tomorrow. Despite the clouds building up overhead, conditions on the track are still good, and the session should stay dry.
Cool. Yeah, you get stuff like that as well. It's quite nice. Here's the... I mean, it's kind of pointless, but it also is part of the coverage. It's quite cool. And you can just skip that away. And right, so now we have 40 minutes, which I'm not gonna do all those 40 minutes. Don't worry. To try and learn the track and get the best time to get where I can for the race day. And this is a good way for me to show you learning the track and the bikes. I tend to go for the pit starts. Otherwise you do get thrown right into it, and if you're doing the pit start, you get to kind of go around the circuit once, just learning it a little bit first. I mean, I know this track, but only really... Well, there's a bit of a weird one. I've not seen that before. Okay. The thing I struggle to get used to, or it takes me a while to get used to, is shifting the weight around. You know, because I know exactly where to turn in when it comes to, like, the F1, for example, on this track. But when it comes to the bikes, you have to turn in earlier because you're basically shifting the weight of the bike first. You know, otherwise you're essentially, when you move the analog stick, you'll be moving too late, and you're already wide going into the corner. I'm not gonna lie, I have played this at 4K with HDR, and the difference is very noticeable going down to 1080p without the HDR for the purposes of recording. Don't have to quite break that early. Round the corner, it's a long one, but then it very quickly goes into a sharp break. Oh wait, no. Oh, this isn't the same as the F1 circuit. You don't go through the chicane there. Okay, I know that now. Right, okay, let's see what I can do time-wise. It doesn't... I'm saying that it doesn't look as good in 1080p and that. I mean, I suppose that's to be expected, really. Oh, bit ropey there. But you know, it still looks decent, but it doesn't look as sharp. And I don't just mean the fact that obviously the resolution's a lot lower. I genuinely mean just in general, it kind of looks a bit washed out, a little bit blurry almost. The sound's very cool. I really like the sound on it. It's spot on, and you get a nice sort of race day atmosphere. Listening to the crowds and everything. go. But yeah, I mean the physics are very nice on it. That I think they work very, very well. And like for someone like me who I'm not that great at the motorbike games, it's quite easy to get to grips with. Okay. Oh, didn't get the acceleration right there at all. It looks like I'm nowhere near pole position with that first lap. But it's a good start. I know I can brake later here. And then quickly shift the weight of the bike. Like I say, I'm not going to do the full 40-minute qualifying because nobody wants to see that. But it's giving you an idea of how the game plays, how it looks, that kind of thing, before we get to the race itself. As you see, I'm not entirely smooth when it comes to turning, but again, that's testament to the game that it doesn't punish you for that. I mean, I imagine it does when you're playing on pro physics, but even then, I can't imagine doing too much, because you've got to cater for the folks using the controller, because you can't really use a steering wheel with a motorbike game, because, well, that's just weird. Don't know if you can actually use a steering wheel with it, but again, I just think it'd be weird. I just don't see how it would work. A little bit deep into that corner, but a little slower into that. Didn't get that one right. But there we go, a little bit smoother. Still not great. Can I get well, second place, but still like half a second off. We'll go with one more lap, and then we'll just skip to the race then, I think. I mean, when I play properly, I do. Wow, that was poor, wasn't it, guys? There you go. Yeah, when I play properly, I do tend to take a lot longer. I do. I honestly go for the majority of, if not all of, the qualifying session, because I do like to get the best time I can, whether that's pole or not, I don't know, but I like to take as much time as I can to learn the track beforehand. I did, like at the very start, I tried the full program, but I mean, you've got to have a lot of patience for that. If you want to play a whole career, that'll really extend it. I mean, that's great if those that want to do that. But basically, you'll get two practice sessions, then your qualifying, then a warm-up session, which I think is about half an hour, and then the race. So if you think that, and I think the practice sessions are like, I think they're like half an hour at least. You have like, well, this qualifying's 40 minutes. I think they might even be longer, come to think of it, the practice sessions. But point being, it's a lot to deal with. Sorry, I said that was the last one, so we'll just finish the session there. So yeah, you can get the full experience.
The qualifying session has just ended, and while the riders make their way back to their boxes, let's have a look at the final times that show us the front row for the start of tomorrow's Grand Prix.
Cool. yeah, so you can do it if you want, or you can even just do race only if you want. But I mean, like I say, if you're playing a full career and you don't really want to be spending all that time doing every event, you can shorten it a bit. But as you see up there, you've got free practice 1 and 2, then free practice 3, so there's three practices. I thought there was only 2 for some reason. Then you're qualifying, then warm up, and then race. So yeah, it's a lot to play. If you're better suited to, like, you've got better knowledge of bikes, you know, you can mess with your setup and get that perfect by doing all the practice sessions properly.
Hello and welcome to the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. We'll be bringing you live coverage of the Moto3 race in just a few minutes. The weather is great and the temperature is perfect for racing, so we're just waiting to find out which riders have opted for hard tyres and which riders have opted for soft.
Well, that's a surprise for me, because I didn't choose a tyre.
We're moving now to the Moto3 class grid, where engineers and technicians are ironing out the last few details before the race starts.
This is one thing that I do like. I've liked it since I played the Valentino Rossi game a few years ago, when I think that was when Milestone got the license and started making MotoGP games. And I was very impressed by that and the subsequent games. But yeah, rather than having to know what a bike does, you know, how to set it up perfectly, you can go into this and you're basically asking your engineer. So let's say my issue is corner exit for whatever reason. You can select that. The issue, you've got that speed, precision, stability. So let's say it's unstable coming out. And is it wobbling or is it bumping? And from there, it'll suggest a setup. And away from there, you know, you just go for it. It helps. You can do it all yourself as well. So you can select your soft or hard tyres. I'll go with soft. You've got more grip. They don't last as long, but they have more grip. And I imagine with the Moto 3 bike, wear won't be as much of an issue. Then you've got your suspension, steering adjustment. I think if you know what you're doing, or if you're like me, you don't. So yeah, you can do all that, and you can save your own settings and whatnot for later on. You can see the rules as well. So let's say, not categories, Moto 3. There you go, and it will tell you a little bit. That doesn't really tell you much. Anyway, so sessions. There we go. We'll go with race, and it'll tell you what happens at the start. Kind of pointless, to be perfectly honest, but there you go. And let's go for it. And you get a nice little shot of the warm-up lap as it runs down the order of the grid. And you can skip this if you like, which I will do in a moment. But yeah, again, I can really see the difference, like resolution wise, which is it's a bit of a shame, because it's a genuinely good looking game when I was playing it previously. And if you hadn't worked it out already, I am on PS4 at the moment, playing on the Pro.
Just a few moments to go and the Catalan Grand Prix will officially begin. Riders are getting focused because they know that they'll have to give 100% from the very beginning.
You get a lot of pop-in as well, actually. Ooh, very slow start there from me. Very, very bad start. But tucking behind there, get a little bit of slipstream. Oh, I didn't need to slow down that early. of shape there. As you can see, you've got your little indicators to tell you when they are, well, when other riders are close behind or just around you, because as you can see, it's moving to show you where they are. That's just fairly standard fare, to be honest, with a lot of racing games now. Oh, getting a bit out of shape there again. And as you can see on the right, it does tell you what's going on around you. You can switch that off if you like. I tend to leave it on just so I know what I'm doing and what's going on around me. I mean, that it can be good for, especially when you've got that, which is your gap, which tells you how far ahead or behind you are, depending on where you are on the grid. Ooh, and very wide corner that, Gary. Very wide. Yeah, it's nice to have that, because if you're, say you're on a career and, you know, you're fighting for the championship, it could be a case of you're watching for your rival, you know, where they are, and you'll be able to see whether they're getting into the right position to win the championship or not. It's a bit dodgy, that was. It is still a good looking game, I will say. It's just at this, you know, the HDR definitely makes a massive difference. Like, the lighting doesn't look anywhere near as natural without it, and but you know, it's not going to ruin your enjoyment of the game. Obviously, you know, if your enjoyment is based purely on how it looks, then, well, it's going to be a problem, innit? If it isn't already. A little bit deep into that corner. Oh, that was very bad. It is very realistic though, and it feels like you are part of this, part of the race. And you know, I think that's the best thing about these kind of games. When they get it right, you feel like you're part of that racing scene. You know, you've experienced it better. You know, you'll get the whole sort of track day experience, and it's the same with the very best of any of the motorsport games. Not just motorsport, I mean just sport games in general as well, actually. You know, you think the reason why, like, PES, for example, does so well is even because even despite the lack of licenses, the presentation, the feel of playing football is spot on. I can't speak for FIFA because I've not played a FIFA in a while, but I would expect it to be similar, although part of it, I'm sure, is Ultimate Team is why that does so well. I don't know if you can see it very well, but in the corner of the bottom right corner, there is a little bike icon. You can see the tires, that it's like half full. Well, not half full, but the white part is dropping as your tires wear out. And this guy's got a bit closer, hasn't he? I think I'm gonna have a fight on my hand for this win. But yeah, it shows you how much wear you've got. I mean, I would say 20% has come off, 25 maybe. And for those that are very familiar with the circuits, or would like to be more familiar with the circuits, in the bottom left, just above the minimap, it'll tell you the corner names. So, I mean, some of them are just turn 1, 2, 3, etc. But you do get specifically named corners as well. It can actually help, because, you know, you might be thinking, you know, where am I going wrong? It's actually on turn 3 or something like that. You know, it'll help you learn a bit more about how to race the circuits. He might be looking after his tyres a bit better than I am, and taking corners much better than I am. So that was poor. Well, at least you're getting a bit of excitement to watch for the end of this race. That wasn't particularly well done. Alright, we're on to the final lap, and he is 0.2 of a second behind me. Can I hold on? Not with cornering like that, I can't. But I mean, the difference between, like, for example, like these Moto 3 bikes and the MotoGP bikes, you'll have to brake earlier. You'll take corners, some corners at higher speed, because the bikes are just that much quicker. But they're also much feistier as well, so it's much harder to keep control of them because of those high speeds. But where this does things well, and I've said a few times before, where I'd like the F1 games to go, is it starts you off in the career in the lower classes. So you're not starting off on MotoGP bikes, you'll start off on the rookie bikes, and you'll move your way up over the seasons. I'd like the GP3 or F2 to come into the F1 games, because, you know, to be quite honest, these guys have done a cracking job on these MotoGP games since they got the license. He's catching up again. Just about one. And then you get a shot of his behind. There you go. And we've gone up a couple of levels there as well.
While the riders complete their victory lap, let's take a look at the final ranking of the Moto3 race.
Yay. It was a close race. Very close race. It was... Yep. I mean... 0.2 seconds behind. So you see, it's good. This is on, I think it's on medium difficulty.
It was a perfect day for him. In addition to the victory, his position also earns him 25 priceless championship points.
Which would be the case if this wasn't just a one-off race. No, we won't go to that track. I was gonna go to that track again with the MotoGP just to kind of show off the difference, but I should show off more tracks. So right, this time then, we are gonna go up to MotoGP. Some of these guys I do know. There's Valentino Rossi. I think a lot of people know him, but I don't know him. I've known all the others so far. Don't know him. But you know, it's a fully licensed game, and you can tell. You know, they've got everyone in it. Right, so it's a lot of riders. Actually, that's right. Let's go with Cal Crutchlow. I know who he is, and you know, I should race as a Brit this time. You can race as yourself as well in these if you've created your character, which you do at the start. Red Bull's a good one. I like the Red Bull ring. Oh, that's not the Red Bull ring. It's just the Red Bull. The Red Bull ring is on here. Where did that was embarrassing. That was it. Yeah, there we go. Red Bull ring. We'll go there. Spielberg. Nothing to do with Stephen. And 7 laps because it's a short track. Same stuff there. Don't need to change anything with that. And then we'll go to the race. We'll do the qualifying again. Again, I'll do a couple of laps. As you get to see this nice little intro. Let's say you get this with every single track, and it is true to the way the MotoGP coverage is presented. And we'll skip that anyway now, and soon get into the actual action. But you may know this track yourself. If you're into your motorsport, you'll more than likely know this track. Fast-paced track, not that easy to get around. I mean, you've got some pretty sharp corners, but you still take them at a relative clip, or rather you do when you're in the motor cars, I should say. Motorbikes, I assume so, and we'll find out, won't we, in a minute.
Hello from the Red Bull Ring. Everything is ready here for the first qualifying session. This session gives riders who didn't make the grade in the free practice another chance to compete for pole in the second qualifier. The weather forecast for this session is perfect, so riders and teams will be able to concentrate exclusively on fine-tuning their performance.
There you go. Again, we don't need to see any of that. Alright, let's do this again. You get to see how these bikes perform. You can already tell just with the sound of it that it sounds different. And off we go. And the speed on this is ridiculous. Right, and there we go. Made a mess of that. So that's a good chance to show you the rewind. So you can get straight back into the action, and you want to brake much earlier. That's too early, really, but there you go. So 2 birds, 1 stone. Now you got to see how differently the bikes handle. Wow. I really need to sort out my but yeah, you get to see how differently the bikes handle, and also you get to see the rewind function. which is invaluable when you're learning the tracks, as you've just seen. I mean, I know this track fairly well. Oh, getting quite a lot of jump sort of thing. You might notice as well, in the top left where you've got only 15 minutes. Well, it started at 15 minutes, I think. Oh, that's very much. That's not the video skipping, by the way. That is the game stuttering, which I've not experienced before now. It's really quite bad, actually. It is happening very regularly, alarmingly so. Ooh, that wasn't good. Wow. This is poor. But you're getting to see this in real time. Wow, I'm not getting the braking right at all, am I? But it is showing it off. You know, you do really need to adjust how you play when you get onto the faster bikes, because they really do change. But yes, sorry, I got sidetracked with the skipping. The qualifying, it changes. So with the MotoGP, you get several qualifying sessions, not just the one long one. It's like the F1. Sorry for any bike fans, for me just comparing everything to F1 and four-wheeled races, but it's what I do know. Whoa, lost a lot of back end there, didn't I? So, it's not going to be my best ever time, I don't think, but that was a bit better. A little bit too early, trying to get on the accelerator there. Not paying attention here. I'm sort of trying to think of things to say, and I end up forgetting that I'm also racing. Oh, well, qualifying. Yeah, I mean, I do really like this game. I've been a big fan of these MotoGP games ever since the Valentino Rossi game, and you know, I happily play them. And this seems to be as good as ever. Oh, that was poor. That was poor. The game's as good as ever. I'm not. Or rather, maybe I am. Maybe this is as good as I get. Ever so slightly faster. There we go. One more lap. Oh, maybe not. Maybe. Let's rewind that. Let's try that one again. I like this though. I like being able to do that. The F1 games do it, you know, and I believe it started with Race Driver Grid. I think that was the first game that started the rewind features. I mean, that was a Codemasters game, so when they got the F1 license, they obviously brought it into that as well. And Forza began using it, and that was poor. Not Forza, my cornering. Yeah, I mean, that I think is one of the best features of modern racing games. I mean, it's true, one of my favourite of the modern games, the Project Cars 2. That one doesn't have it, and sometimes you do miss it. Sometimes you're just like, I would have preferred to have the option to try that one again, you know. some people I'm sure probably dislike it, saying that it's you know, makes games too easy or something like that, but I prefer to have the option of learning with a bit of leniency, you know? Huh. Unintentional pun. Leniency, as I was leaning into the corner. Anyway, moving on. Right, let's see if that was good enough to actually get pole or
That brings an end to the first qualifying session.
second.
The riders in the top 2 positions will be able to race for pole in the second round.
So yes, qualifying 2 now. So now I try again. I'll be honest, I'd completely forgotten that there was an extra qualifying session. Otherwise, I would have just done the 1 lap and then tried again in the next session. But I'll do the flying lap start this time rather than doing the pit start, so then you don't have to watch me go slowly around the track again.
Welcome back, racing fans. The second qualifying session is starting, and things are...
Right, we'll skip him this time. Right, so flying
His bike
start.
is ready, and the...
See how the autopilot does, considering the oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention there, was I? I was going to say about seeing as though it crashed coming out of the pits before. I'd like to see what it does, but I clearly wasn't paying attention. I thought it was going to take me all the way around to the starting straight. That was awful, but we'll go with it. We'll go with it. This is a fairly good looking track as well, and oh, there's that weird skipping again. I said I've not noticed the skipping before this session. It's a little bit worrying because you don't want skipping like that, especially not on a racing game when you're travelling at ridiculous speeds and then you've got to slow down for corners. It's not easy when the game is kind of fighting you. Go, that's not too bad. I could do that corner a lot better, but I'm not doing so, basically. One more try, and then we'll wow, I really wish it wouldn't skip like that. That's terrible. Sorry, fella. But, I mean, this is genuinely poor. I don't know what's actually causing it. I mean, it's obviously the game's got some issue. Whether it's when a rider pops in, you know, another, like an AI rider maybe popping into the session and it's loading him in. I don't know. Either way, it's a bit of a blemish on what is otherwise a good game. You know what? Let's try that one again. Seems as though I'm only doing this 1 lap. Let's try that again, because that was poor on my part. That's braking far too hard, but well, there we go. Just have to deal with the consequences, won't I? See if I can get a better... That's slightly better, a little bit faster. So that is a very fast corner really, and I'm not taking it fast enough. Well, that'll do anyway. We'll see where I get for the race. My guess is not pole this time.
That's the end of the second and last qualifying session, and we can finally see the grid positions that await us in tomorrow's Grand Prix.
I didn't expect that. I thought I was going to be further down the order with that one. But yeah, it's a good game, but the skipping is quite worrying. You know, it's hopefully that's something that can be fixed with the patch. If any of the developers see this, it's worth checking out. We'll be very grateful. It's a great game otherwise. And yeah, I'm enjoying it, as I've said. I've enjoyed my time with it, and it feels very much like it deserves the same sort of attention that the F1 games get. The F1, but I mean, I suppose F1 is.
Hello and welcome to the Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, okay.
We are moving now to the
Come on, man.
grid.
Stop talking over me.
MotoGP riders are ready to start the race.
Rude.
Tension is sky high, but these guys are seasoned pros, able to withstand any kind of pressure.
But yeah, I mean, the F1 as a sport, I suppose, is much bigger just with the money involved. Whereas, you know, MotoGP just doesn't quite have that same backing, so I suppose it's unsurprising that it's not getting quite the same attention, but it should do, because it's the same sort of quality game.
The riders have just completed the sighting lap and are lined up on the Red Bull Ring straight. Very little time is left until the start of another Austrian Grand Prix.
Let's see if I can get a better start this time. Ooh. There we go. It'd be interesting to see with all the riders on the track now whether the game skips like it has been doing, or whether it was literally just the riders popping into the, I suppose, into existence out of the pits. Could have done that much better. Needed to turn in a bit earlier there, I think. But as I say before, I mean, you have to. Wow, he was much faster around that corner. Yeah, you do have to turn in earlier because it's you're leaning the bike with it. Oh, that was bad. That was bad. So this race may not go smoothly as the last one did. Come on, why are you not leaning down? There we go. So this is showing you a bit more of the difficulty as well. You know, clearly I am not that great, and this is going to go horribly wrong. I'm sorry, friend. Luckily that doesn't seem to have done any lasting damage. Oh, he's weaving quite a bit, wasn't he? I'm sorry, friend. That wasn't the cleanest overtake. Wow. Bike's not slowing down as I thought it would. Even braking that early. Come on, get down, will ya? Wow, it's not getting any kind of traction there. This is strange, I wasn't getting any of this before. Could be the track conditions have changed. which does affect the way the tyres grip the surface. That's a little better. Still not great, but a little better. Oh, that wasn't good. That was very poor. So yeah, the physics do change depending on the track surface as well, as I am discovering. And you're discovering along with me. And I like the way the circuit looks as well, though. That was a little better, but still not great. But yeah, the circuit. If you do know this circuit, this is very well done. You know, it looks very much like that circuit, like the Red Bull Ring. Even down to the forestry and hills surrounding it. That was a little better going around there. Oh, I should have went down much earlier. That was terrible. I think I cursed myself there by saying the other corner was good. Better, not great. But this is it's kind of what I like about these racing games. All of these sort of like the sim ones. Oh, well. That went badly, didn't it? Anyway, as I was saying before I flew off my bike, horrendously, probably killing the guy. You know, that was... If you didn't wince at that, then... well, you were probably laughing at my incompetence. Anyway. I like... It's kind of therapeutic to me, like, going round these circuits, as you know, learning as you go. Try to improve your cornering, try to improve your lap times. All the while trying to win a race. You have to remember as well, with the weight of the bike, you've got to let go of the analog stick earlier as well, because you're not just leaning the bike into the corner, you're lifting it out of the corner as well. You have to straighten up. So that's one thing that you have to learn early on when you're like me and you prefer the four-wheeled races. You're used to just turning in and out of corners quite simply, really. Whereas this, obviously you're having to deal with the weight of the bike and making it move as you'd want it to, basically. And this is all just... these are just me playing just a general Grand Prix. You know, like exhibition races. I will show you a little bit of the career in a moment, after this race. Just to show you what's on offer there. Losing a bit of grip in the tyres now. Probably 30% off those tyres, maybe more. Obviously I'm not doing that well, not preserving the tyres but that's part of the game. You can, and as you noticed before, you can turn off tyre wear if you prefer to just concentrate on the race. I myself prefer a bit of realism to it, or extra realism, I suppose. Wow, that sounded really condescending, didn't it? Sorry. You're all there thinking, Gaz, you condescending tool. Yeah, I do like that kind of extra sense of realism that you get from having to watch your tyres. Even fuel use as well, which doesn't seem to be in this game, but in other races I like that too. Oh, I'm not getting this right again. Yeah, I like that too. You know, I didn't used to. This is something that's kind of developed over the years of me playing these games. On the last lap, he's not too far behind. Let's see, less than 2 seconds behind, and I'm not paying attention to the road ahead, instead looking at the time. I'm sure some of you might be watching this just thinking, this is just going round the same track over and over and over, why are you not bored? It's just kind of the way these racing games are. You either like that or you don't. You know, a lot of people prefer stuff like Onrush or, you know, stuff like Blur. You know, where it's a lot more arcadey and just, it's not about the, you know, learning the track. It's not about getting your braking distances. It's just about the sort of the pure adrenaline fun. That's why I like the racing genre. Like, the racing genre itself is just, I don't know, it's got a lot more variety than I think people give it credit for.
While the riders complete their victory lap and return to the park first,
Yeah, you can be quiet.
we are picking up again live from the track, where the top 3 riders have just arrived on the podium for the award ceremony.
There you go. So now, you've seen the differences between the bikes, the speed, you know, you've seen a couple of different tracks. We'll have a quick look at the career, just to see what's there. So we'll back out of that. But these are the other things. You do have tutorials as well, so it can help teach you how to play the game. You've got your multiplayer esports championship, so that's the thing. And then we'll go to the career. So we'll continue. Like I say, I've not done too much of the career, so you're not going to be jumping into very late on. That's me. Doesn't really look like me at all, but that's how it is. So you've got your emails. This will tell you, it's the same as some of the other games, previous games in this series, and going back again, sorry, to the F1 game. You'll get these things. It tells you what's expected of you and that kind of thing. The websites are essentially Twitter and that kind of thing. Just, you can learn a little bit about how people are seeing you. Like, there you go, I won that last race. Calendar will tell you what's next. It's, you know, the order of the circuits. Standings, where you are in. There we go. And then you've got like your career. It'll tell you how you've done, where you're doing not so well, that kind of thing. So we'll jump to the next weekend. Don't know what my race. So you can change these things. You can change them race to race. So as I started with the full weekend and then realised how long that actually is, that's when I changed it to just the qualifying. You've got all these again, same as what you saw before. So we'll start the race. Oh, it'll be the race weekend. Assen. I don't know this track really. I've heard of it. I know of it, but I don't really know it. We'll keep this short, maybe, sort of. But yeah, again, here's the feed, so you can see a little bit of it. It even gives you tips. You know, braking early as soon as you see the bend is a rookie error. Experience and knowledge of the track will help to get over this. Again, like I say, the loading times aren't that long, so it gives you something to do while you're waiting, but you're not waiting quite as long as some other games.
Hello and welcome to the TT circuit in Assen, Holland.
Yeah, okay. And, right, we'll just go straight in. We'll go with the pit start again.
Taking the bike out of the pit, and the rider is...
Yep. Wonder if they'll crash on the way out again. Doesn't look like it. But yeah, I don't know this track at all, really. Like the layout. So I'm gonna have to learn it. This looks like a... oh, it's a very long corner. Followed by a very, very tight left-hander. Wow. This one might not go that well. But you can even hear straight away the difference in the engine. You know, it's right. Where's the corner here? It's there. Wow. This is a very odd circuit. Quite fast-paced by the looks of it. Just, you know, not for me at the moment. It's relatively tight corner. Okay, so that's relatively tight. That's a fast corner. As is this. Wow, there's a lot of fast corners here. I'm gonna struggle to remember all this. Oh, that's a... quite a tough chicane, actually. So, can I remember any of that? Right, this was a fast corner, wasn't it? And then this was that long right-hander that goes straight into that, which I didn't handle very well at all by the looks of it, but you keep going. This one was... I don't remember. I think this was the... ah, yes, it's this bit, wasn't it? Brake a little bit for this one. A little bit more than that, Gary. Never mind. But now this is where you're seeing me, because like you were watching me before with 2 circuits that I know. Now you're seeing me one that I don't, trying to learn it. That's relatively fast corner. Try and remember that. That could be faster. Oh, I'm not going to be anywhere near that pole position, I don't think. No. Nearly 2 seconds behind. So we'll try one more lap and then we'll just go from there. I won't bore you all any further. Although if you've stuck at it watching this video for this long, thanks. Maybe you're not bored by this. Right, it's a little smoother, I think. Not great, but a bit smoother. So this might be a race where I'm starting quite low down and I'm going to have to try and deal with that, basically. A bit faster there. Right, this was a slightly slower corner, wasn't it? Oh. I can accelerate out of that a lot earlier. Oh, that was a lot slower. A little bit of skipping there, I don't know if you saw that or not. So it looks like that skipping must be something to do with the other bikes coming out of the pits. I think it's loading them in and it's causing problems. Not as much as it was on the last track though. I think maybe because that track is quite small, so maybe because it's all loading in sort of in quick succession there. Maybe that's what's causing it. But I don't know. Not doing well at all on this one. But you know what? We will finish that there, because you don't want to watch me do very badly. And I might learn a little bit more following.
This qualifying session.
Yeah, I know. I might do alright following the other riders. Like you sort of get more of a sense of how fast they take a corner, how fast you can take that corner. But you might see a little bit of actual racing, like try to get a position. You might see how the AI reacts. Maybe. Or they might get well ahead and I might be just right at the back, never getting anywhere. And we'll see in a moment, really. Come on, load up. Here we go. I'm ready to race.
Greetings from Assen to all the fans. We're bringing you live coverage of the Dutch Grand Prix.
Cool.
We are now broadcasting from the starting grid, where everything seems ready. It's always difficult to predict the results of a race like this, but the riders we're seeing right now definitely seem to be the favourites.
Well, it's blowing out my ears.
Just a few minutes to go until the Grand Prix begins. Assen, the motorbike university, is once again ready to put everyone to the test.
He gets very excitable, doesn't he? Oh, that was a bad start. And it is completely normal that they're all wearing the same thing, by the way. This is like the Rookies Cup, so... nudge on that fella, it's alright. I don't actually remember the track, so this is interesting. Kind of remember little bits. This was slowish corner. Oof. On the inside there, I've got a couple of places. And the AI isn't particularly reacting to my presence. You know, like it's not trying to get out of the way or anything, it's just there. See, like the chicanes there is like a perfect example of how you have to throw the bike's weight around. You know, that you need to be able to lift it and throw it into the next corner. This is a long right-hander. And yeah, a little bit rough, I know, but when I'm playing against the AI, I don't mind quite as much sometimes. Sometimes you kind of have to play that way. Good on my part. I think it is reacting a little bit, so it's like when I'm ahead and sort of move in front of them, a lot of the time they will slow. So I'm not doing too well, to be fair, but you're getting to see a little bit more of the AI now. Oh, that was bad. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Didn't get that corner right at all. I could have took that corner faster, I think, but we're getting there. Well, we're not getting anywhere near there, but we're learning the track a little bit more. Oh, this is a good race. Yeah, I got that warning, and I deserve that warning because I messed that corner up a lot. Slowing down too much for that corner. wasn't great, but it probably the best chicane I've done there. Nearly. Tried a bit of a late lunge, didn't quite happen. Can I lunge up the inside here? I can, but it didn't work. Oof. Just cut right across me. Oh, this is going to go horribly wrong. Ooh, how did we not make contact there? Not the best corner in there. Like this, I should be commentating, shouldn't I, really, rather than just me saying that I'm doing rubbish or overtaking as I'm running. But this just genuinely does feel different, actually, from the MotoGP bike. It's lighter. It kind of feels like you're going, weirdly, it feels like you're going fast around some of the corners, because you're not, with the bike not being as powerful, you don't need to slow as much for some of the corners. Okay, 13th position, not good, but not the worst either. He's not happy though, he's not happy. But actually, still get a decent amount of experience for it.
While we wait for the cameras to take us to the Parc Fermé to meet the stars of the race, let's take a quick look at the final race.
Okay, right, so you can watch the replay as I finish up with this video. It's sort of summing up, this is a very good game. You know, I know I said it doesn't look as good here as it did when I was playing sort of with 4K and HDR, and you know, it is noticeable. There are some issues. You saw the skipping before, which, I mean, that was very poor, to be perfectly honest. But that was the only time I've seen it happen. So, you know, it's something that they might be able to fix with a patch, and hopefully they will. Like I say, this is the PlayStation version, so the Xbox version might not have that issue. Same with the PC version. I'm not sure, but it is there, and it is a shame because it shouldn't be there. But to focus on the positive, it feels great to play. I really like the way the bikes handle. I like the way the races pan out. I like the presentation, and like I said before, it feels like you're part of the sort of the MotoGP race experience. This replay looks pretty cool. I like that. The tracks, they are well made. You know, they're realistic. They look like the real things. Even down to, like say, like the Red Bull Ring, you saw the hills and the forests around the outside of the circuit. You know, that kind of attention to detail is worth it. You know, you kind of need it in games like this. And yeah, I'm very impressed with this. It's a very good game. Just needing a bit of a tweak, I think, with the performance. But yeah, well worth a look, I think. If you're a fan of the MotoGP or motorbike games in general, I think it's well worth looking at. Or even to check out the earlier games like the Valentino Rossi and last year's MotoGP 17. You know, there's a lot of similarities here, and you know, you might get that at a budget price to see whether this one is worth playing. But if you want it up to date, you want like the most up-to-date experience. You want the full sort of 4K experience. If you've got that set up, then cool, go for this one. And like I say, it's very good. It's worth it. You've just got to kind of live with some of the flaws for now, I think. Hopefully, like I say, they'll patch that skipping, because that was kind of awful, actually. The more I think about it. But yeah, very good game, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. You got something out of it, and if you want to see more of this kind of thing, more of like the racing games, let us know. Let me know in the comments as well, or on Twitter. And keep supporting the site. Keep watching the videos, reading the site for reviews, news, previews of that. Consider supporting us on Patreon for $1 a month, which is less than £1, and that will get you early content. You'll get the podcast, a few days early. You'll get it an extended one, which you'll only ever hear through Patreon. It's worth it. And if you can't do that, supporting us just by reading the site and everything, it's all appreciated. And the more you support us, the more content we'll produce, including more videos like this and other videos and streams. They're all happening. Thanks again for joining me today, watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed playing the game. Well, looking at that, that's some bad colouring, wasn't it? Anyway, thanks again for joining me. I will see you again very soon. See you again. Bye.